Here in the pond, we like to give our 2 cents, though this may be really the second time we are ever doing this, but this is the first time we're giving our 2 cents as an episode. So sit back and relax, while here in the pond, we're going to see what Raya and the Last Dragon, what we think could have made it better. Cue the music. Hello, and welcome to this part of the pond, where it's the Bullfrog and the one, the only, Newt.
Face reveal at 100,000 subscribers.
I couldn't help it, I love doing that voice. We're going to begin with the most obvious. The movie is a movie. Raya and the Last Dragon should have been a TV show. A lot of modern day shows are going like an half 45 minutes to an hour, and it's 6 or 5 episodes. I think they should have, kept like the 40-minute, half hour maybe, depending on which episode, but go longer. Kind of milk it into like a 10 or maybe 12 episode season. Honestly, I would like to see 22. Each season should have been about a piece of that dragon crystal. For season 1, like the first 3 episodes or 1 episode, depending the season length, should all have been, no, that's a lie. It has to be 2 or 3 episodes dedicated to Raya as a kid, where we got to see more of the connection she had with her father and see what her land was, who she is, and see this kind of perfect place. But also when that Grand Council comes of 5, and this is no holds bar, we're going to go spoilers. So if you want to see the movie to understand what the crap we're saying, go and do, because spoilers galore. No one is safe. I may be missing people. I'm going to give your description, not your names, because your names are too hard. Unless your name is Sisu. Aquafina. Raya and her father were really good, but with everyone coming in from Talon, Spine, Tail, and Fang, give us a little shadow of what they are as a people. These different cultures, kind of show it more on them, but also give us a little bit more of that idiot daughter from Talon and how she was able to lull Raya as a friend, so kind of show off how deep this hurt her. It was not just 5 minutes, it could have been like a few days. Them building this trust, building this friendship. So when that moment happened, the reason why Raya doesn't trust anyone or anything is because that hurt was far more deeper. It could have been days, it could have been weeks. Other than one big feast night, it should have been this 2-week, almost month-long fiesta, trying to get people to interact. This was not meant to be a day. This was meant to be a full excursion of everyone meeting with each other. He wanted to unify in a big way. It's not, though the problem is, he's trying to unify, but everyone else feels like this is heart showing off its heart. So you can see this little aminosity flirting in between with everyone. So he's going, hey, let's unite. They're going, he's showing off. See this kind of friction in a weird way. And see how people are just bumping shoulders, or some people like it. Kind of show off the political tension is unique. Because it was 9 writers. And normally 9 writers is a rough bit. But these writers, if they had more time and give them this and give them the moments, I bet they can build off more of why people don't like Heart, or how they're struggling, or show off how it's hard to connect, but also show how some people would like to connect. It's not always, Heart is bad, we don't like Heart. like people with Captain Planet with that kid, but also how some people would like to connect. So there's this middle ground where people want, don't want, but at the same time, it's kind of hard. It's too much happening. And so you're getting more of the world and its strives, and then Raya and the girl from Talon, because that's what the writers did. There's these two different stories trying to unite and this girl's lack of trust. This is the beginning. And with more time and with more episodes, you can show this duality of trying to unite and Raya. It's a good beginning. And then also how Talon destroyed everything. This, I think, was one of the worst parts of the film. Because the girl from Talon and her mom were not, I don't want to say horrible, but I just want to say it should have been more longer. Everything about the biggest problem was it was too short. Give us more time. Give us time to establish their characters. Because with her daughter, she's just loyal to her mom. And mom says this, but at the same time, mom shows that she is really one of the biggest villains. Why? She's an idiot. I'm going to, Newt, do me a big favor. Bring Arthur back for this.
Oh, shut up.
Because the mother is an idiot. Why? Here's the point. At the beginning, she said, we deserve the stone of the dragon. So that way we can be safe. Or we can show off power. Everyone wanted that. But what grinds my gears so much about her, her views led to the destruction of the dragon and letting these things out. She pushed her daughter for that to happen. They didn't understand consequences of that moment. 8 years passed, and at the end of the movie, the mother talks about how Talon stayed safe, and we're the only ones that could hold the stone and be a beacon, and we will be a beacon for everyone. Wait a minute. That's what Heart was. Your whole arc is this. You wanted to be Heart. You were nothing more than green-eyed, spiteful idiots. You broke the stone, let everything come, and you're saying, oh, we are perfect because this. We are the only ones that should have Sisu and the stone because we know how to use it. You broke all of this. You are on shaky ground. You are the real villain of everything for this movie or TV show. And honestly, keep that. In the movie, her was too short. But here in the show, hold on to that, to this arrogance, to this envy, and to the sheer spite of, I'm doing this for the world, but at the same time, Talon needs to be first. More than that, before Talon, we are the family that's meant to protect the Heart now. We led to this. It's this domino effect. And keep the domino effect because it made the story happen. But more than that, this domino effect with the longer time with her mother and the girl from Talon, this could actually help the girl from Talon's story, making her almost like a Zuko, where she's having this, as a child, she followed mom, and take a look what happened. And now she's trying her best for her mom, but at the same time, she has this weight on her that this is kind of her fault. But she doesn't, her problem is she knows it, but tries to ignore it. And for season 1, I felt like what they should do is have Raya show her steal that fan or scroll thing. And have her go on this quest to find Sisu and have the girl from Talon follow her. And before I go further, I want to address the monkey in the room. And that is when they said, you're a dragon nerd, you're like Sisu? No, That's not a dragon nerd. We like Sisu. I think your whole world has a thing for Sisu. That's not a dragon nerd. I honestly think what they should have talked about was Sisu's brothers. They weren't as well known, but they know them. And they can say, I like Sisu's brother A because of this. I like Sisu's older brother, the one she likes to talk about the most. She's my favorite because of this. And have the girl from Talon, she likes Sisu's older brother, this authority figure. While Raya likes another brother. So they're dragon nerds because they know deeper lore. But don't say dragon nerd. It's too modern. Be your world. Be who you are. Don't say nerd. You like dragon lore too? Yeah. Easy fix. And also, it'll be a fun thing to see her grow, see Raya grow up without her dad and see how she distrusts people. But don't say it. Don't hit me like a redwood tree falling down. Just show. And this movie shows it can show. Because after the childhood bit, and then we see Raya with Tuk Tuk riding in the desert, I felt like that alone would have been perfect. Beginning on that scene. But seeing her as a child for the first few episodes, and then show her break into Talon and have this big grand adventure, and start the big grand adventure of her stealing it and having the girl from Talon both on this cat and mouse chase. And it introduces us to Commandra. You're going through the river, and we're seeing more of the country. But it's more isolated because we're not seeing all of Commandra. And we're seeing this is a real fast-paced bit. They're almost on fast travel. But you do this, and the show should be at a cliffhanger where you see the girl from Talon ready for Raya, but Raya finally finds the dragon spot, does her prayer while all the guys are coming, and then you see the dragon come, and that's how it ends for season 1. That alone, I think, will be fun, and to show off how each season is a dragon piece, and have the piece that Raya has is the shape-shifting piece. So that way, Sisu can immediately transform, so no one ever knows she's who she is. And for season 2, we learn more about the Dragon Stone. We get to learn more about Sisu, and also have it begin with them with Sisu as a human. Sisu cannot be Sisu; she has to be a human. So there's this little Jackie Chan, your hands being pulled back, so now you two have to fight out. While Raya is trying to fight out, Sisu's just being so trusting and going, hey, and hers going, don't, these are bad. For the rest of the show, Sisu has to be the symbol of trust in all of its forms. From too trusting to being naive, from being so trustful you're the perfect friend. Well, obviously the best friend. But also what distrust can lead to. The pain of what can leave. How Sisu may have to learn how to trust. But also have Sisu able to struggle along. I think that would be fun, and have her be that symbol and all of trust in its forms. And it will be really fun. And one thing I remember Newt talking about when we came out of the theater was, so the stone was she got the power and that was it, then what's the point of the stone? So I like Newt's idea. He said the stone should have had like a length. As long as Sisu was nearer to the stone, the stronger her magic was. But the further out, the magic would go weaker and then turn off. So she has a distance. And with her as a human, if she gets too far off, she can't transform back. She's still a human. And if she dies as a human, there'll be no dragon to turn on the stone, or that's what everyone thinks. That'll be fun. I'm a dragon as a human, to I'm a human fully and fully. I need the dragon stone back. Or, ooh, here's a fun thought for Disney. The transformation stone, give it a little bit more power. Where she's gone too far that she becomes fully human, there has to be a drag. It's not an illusion. I feel like there has to be a dragon to turn on the stone. The stone will make a human into a dragon. So that way, suddenly the stones become more sought after once that is revealed. And also, it could lead a lot of fun stuff. But in order to turn the stone back on, to turn on another dragon, is someone has to turn themselves back into a human and get at a distance for someone to become that dragon again. So that could be a whole lot more fun. To know the rules of the stone, give it a length, but also give it that terror. What if Sisu is human and no one has the stone, and a bad guy gets a hold onto it? What happens then? We have to fix this mechanic. We gotta prevent this. This can't happen or let it happen. That could be very imaginative. That could be very fun. And that would put a little extra tension and fear into the show, which I felt like the movie totally lacked in. I wasn't scared of these flying blob things. I never felt, oh, Scar, oh, Judge Crofolo, oh, the coachman. I didn't feel they were a real villain. That almost sounds like something a deep dive someone should go into. So, yeah, that was a shameless plug. Couldn't be helped. But these things weren't scary. But letting that stone have that extra power, that could add a lot more fear. And make those things a whole lot more scarier. Like, I like the fact that the girl from Talon, the mother, was a big threat. She started everything. She should be. But those blob things needed to be a threat. They need to be something deadly. And they were too faceless. They were just there. There was these blobs going around, and I just felt like this needed to be fixed. We need a face. So the best way to fix this problem and that hiccup of an idea of the stone can turn anyone to anything, let that happen. Let one of these blobs somehow connect the stone. But the stone repels them. How does this work? I think the best way how to do it is a calamity. Have Raya, have like this innocent civilian kind of being taken by the blob thing, and she's going around to stop it. And it's like this perfect moment where the thing was too close to the human that it could actually touch the stone, and it was being repelled at the same time. It's like a static shock build, where the person rubbing on their carpet is that thing overtaking a human, and Raya shoving the stone at the creature. There's flesh and formlessness touching the stone at the same time, with no Sisu. So Sisu's a human. We need Sisu. Oh no, this is happening. There's no drag, but it doesn't turn the creature into a dragon because Sisu's too far off, but it does turn one of those faceless things into a form. But it's mutated because, again, it was touching a human. So magic, or the mathematics of the stone, it causes one of the things to become more of a creature. It's not a humanoid. It's not natural. It's almost like a half dragon, half that thing. So it couldn't become whole, but it got changed in a way. With this as a face, and now taking more people by storm, and it's still that mindless. You can see these creatures are not really mindless. You can see there's something more to them. But what is it? It's a mystery. There. That's the way how to solve it. It has a face, there's a mystery, and it almost gives more lore to what these things are. humans may be human grief or whatever gave birth to this thing. So that way, where did this thing come from? Is it out of humanity's greed? Or is it that there's something more to it? And now there's something that can talk. It's the first one ever to have a voice. How is this possible? Because the stone was made. Because the stone was broken. So when the stone is united, that thing will be broken apart and it will no longer have that power form because the stone's light is strong enough to break that form but not kill it. It gives us, the villain is an individual. A villain no longer, the villain has a face. The villain has a voice. It's not this blobless form going around. I'm sorry it bothered me. But seeing that have a face and voice suddenly feels more like a threat. And that's what the movie needed. The only threat was the woman from Talon and her daughter, not these formless things that were the real villain. Make it a real villain. Whew, need a drink. And I know I went off a bit about that, but establishing rules and turning that into a face and a voice, I think would help. And through season 2, we actually meet the little shrimp boy be the first friend of Raya, but also I really enjoyed his character. And I think what could be funner is he's learning how to grow up, be independent, but now with Raya, he could be a kid again. But whenever she leaves, and it's leaving him in charge with the baby when they meet the baby, but with him now being a chance to relax and be a child, it's almost like his story for the rest of the series is him trying to find his balance. He's growing up too fast, but now he could be a kid, but at the same time, who am I now? Am I a kid or am I this person that can stand on their 2 feet? It's almost like he has an identity problem. Can he be irresponsible or should he always be responsible? He's been this provider. He's the kid. He's the one making food. Raya is now dependent on him, and Sisu just loves him. It's almost like I would love to have Sisu and him have bonds and relationships and just have a go. I think those two will be a comedic duo. But also let the kid kind of grow up a bit and let Sisu be an outlet for him. It's not Raya he really connects to, it's more Sisu. But yet, at the same time, he needs to figure out not only who to trust, but who am I? And let that balance show. That will be really good for him and his arc for the rest of the show. And have them meet like on the quarter way or closer to the beginning, and have them meet the baby a little later. And have Taekwondo baby and the monkeys, let them kind of bond better with Raya for a bit because they're more violent, they're more authoritative. But the baby still takes hold and controls. And it's the 3. It's kind of like Aang, Sokka, Katara. And it's Raya, Shrimp Boy, and the baby with Sisu. Sisu is not really part of the group because Sisu is Sisu. And let that be. It's them reacting to Sisu and how Sisu can react to them. It's them finding trust and trust helping them. That's what the symbol should be. And for season 2, it's about finding the second stone. Season 1, finding Sisu. Season 2, finding the second stone. And in the movie, the guy who stole the stone, he died. And it's this old woman that has the stone in the movie. Keep that guy alive, okay? Keep him alive, but yet have him be shut in because he lost the stone. He got swindled out of it. That old woman now has the stone and he doesn't. It's almost like this shock of pride. It's this piece of it's him experiencing humanity and loss. And now seeing what he's owned, now what he once was a leader of, now become this place of thieves. It kind of makes him go, reflect on responsibility and what he did and how he could fix it. He wants to fix it. And Raya coming up and saying, "Where's the stone? I lost it." And kind of show that old woman being the villain against Sisu. So it's her teaming up with him to find the stone back. And it's again this symbol of trust. What is it? This man who took the smallest piece, he's the man that you need to follow. I think with him, this should lead to his death. He should still die. Let the TV show go dark. And let him see what the symbol, this guy who once was an authoritative figure, was not, trying to build trust with Raya, but Raya doesn't let it happen. At least, what does that lead to? A man who's fallen so far, had a ray of hope, and have it be snuffed out. Show that after they take the stone and leave, you see this guy just shadow down a whole lot more. And his shadow actually affects the rest of the story. Because everyone whispers something happened at that place. And what it is, we want to find out. And it's the fact that this guy's shadow, what it is to Raya, it puts her on a dark light. How can you trust her when she is or he talks about how bad she is, and he couldn't take it anymore? It leads to what? He died. Was it suicide? He died. Was it a knife in the back? He died because he just couldn't take it anymore? That shadow will linger on her forever in the show. And it's her, this is what distrust would lead. Well, what does this mean for me? That puts it on a whole lot more powerful meaning. Because the show and the movie, the meaning is trust. But give this show the multi-dimensions of what trust is. There's trust and distrust. If you trust too much into everyone, it can lead to naivety, which can be manipulated. But if you distrust too much and don't like anyone and snipe that light out when someone has that light, it could lead to death and depression and dark places. Let us go into a deep dive on the subject of trust and see what it can lead to, both good and bad. Let this have a deeper, darker depth, but yet also show there can be light. But in order to know light, we have to know darkness. And that is something very dark, where you realize your main character is responsible for a man's death when that man had a ray of hope. Ouch. That hurts. Ow. And wow, I need to pause on that one. And for season 3,